Hello, my name is InJung Cho, and I'm a first year PhD student at the Graduate School of Asia Pacific Studies in Waseda University, Japan. I have a keen interest in education development for the marginalized communities in Indonesia and had teaching experiences at various Indonesia local education NGOs and primary schools. My research is urban slum education, a case study of a children's experience in Jakarta. In this paper, I will refer slum children as SC and non-formal education as NFE. The world's rapid urbanization permeates cities with poverty. Slumization. There are over 881 million worldwide are currently living in urban slums. International communities set slum development goals through specific target MDG 7.1 and SDGs 11.1, but they focus on structural development with neglected attention on education, which left the slum children as policy orphans whose right to education is unfulfilled, contrasting to EFS pledge. Under the spearheads of the non-governmental organizations, NFE have catered to marginalized populations, including SC, and their different needs through diversified educational activities. In this research, I selected Jakarta, Indonesia as a case study. The capital city is an epitome of interurban injustice. The left side shows the Jakarta's land uses for urban development, contrasting to the right side's urban slum proliferation. The rapid urbanization and slumization refer to Jakarta's 60% of population is now slum dwellers, while public slum upgrading policy neglects attention on education. Local NGOs implement various NFE programs to address SC's needs to education. My first part of literature review portrays multi-dimensional social challenges to SC in a global context. And my second part of literature review looks at the different types of NFE programs for the marginalized children in a global context and their impacts. And these literature reviews are important linkages. Challenges in context, implementation of particular types of NFE programs to combat the challenges and their impacts. This understanding is foundational for my analytical framework building. So these are the research questions. How are the NGOs NFE fulfilling SC's need to education? First, how is NFE being provided for the SC? Two, what are the perceived impacts of NFE on the SC? And the sub questions would be, how do children perceive their own impacts, and how do parents perceive their children's impacts, and how do NFE teachers perceive their students' impacts? So these are the literature reviews. My research is empirical and qualitatively designed, where 30 SCs, 6 parents, and 6 NFE teachers participated. To capture the education realities from the children's angle, I conducted an emancipatory participatory research technique called photo voice. I distributed a disposable camera to each student and asked them to take a photo about their meaning of NFE Center, and the following week, I revisited the center and conducted one-on-one storytelling interview. The research was conducted by visiting 3 different NFE centers in different Jakarta slums, as you can see in this map. My analytical framework divides 3 different parts: context, mechanisms, and outcomes. Context, describing academic and social and emotional challenges. Mechanisms, NFE programs to overcome each challenge. Outcomes, the child's environment associates with education impacts. What social interaction brings fulfillment of the hierarchy of needs to education, constituting with 6 stages, from the bottom of the lower needs that should be met in order to proceed to the higher orders, reaching to the pinnacle, self-actualization. Academic challenges. Devotion on street work hindered their time and energy for academic learning. And no birth registration failed the children's accessibility to public education. School teachers lacking individual attention left the children with insufficient understanding on class. Social and emotional challenges. Parents' busy work, a single parenthood left the children inadequate social and emotional development. School teachers' punitive actions also found them difficult to seek support. Children suffer from peers bullying due to their poor academic background and overage enrollment. To address academic challenges, local NGOs have implemented paraformal education that are teaching formal school subjects for the children to catch up on their age appropriate academic levels. The paraformal education is significant in terms of being only alternative to private tutoring for SC. And to address the social and emotional challenges, NFE supplementary programs are promoted. Children are encouraged to openly discuss their problems in character building class. Children also visit museum and zoo as extracurricular activities. NFE teachers' personal counseling continues inside to outside the classroom. Children are also provided light snacks. Parents are engaging in healthy economic activities by sewing and producing crafts for revenue through social entrepreneurship programs in the centers. Psychological needs. Center became physical space where children stay besides home or streets, reflecting their opportunity to learn and socialize. Freshly cooked meals ensure the basic needs to healthy food intake that improves academic learning. Safety needs. From teachers to parents' persuasion, parents moved to a new neighborhood from streets or bridges. Unlike the street communities enforcing children to street work, the new community brings positive morale for sending the children to the centers together. Mothers also generate stable income through social entrepreneurship programs and had close proximity to their children, enhancing their awareness in their children's education. Love and belongingness needs. Through sharing personal problems to NFE teachers, children build emotional bonding with NFE teachers. NFE supplementary programs help the children open up their hearts and their similar socioeconomic circumstances with their peers strengthen their camaraderie. Children are aware of parental supportive networks from their changed attitudes. And all of these emotional foundations in multi-microsystem accelerate the children's fulfillment of higher needs. Esteem needs. Parents note the children's gained confidence regarding handling bullying and sharing own opinions. NFE teachers state that children garnered respect and their feeling of being respected. Children also acquire a sense of accomplishment through finding their academic interest, for example, in art class, in NFE activities, and experience the excelled grades in schools. Cognitive needs. Parents show the children's academic advancement and academic preparation among pre-primary children prior to entering primary schools. Despite the positive cognitive impacts, however, the SC are situated in the lowest quintile, who barely pass the marks on the national examination, and their insignificant academic performance often led them pursue a vocational track, referring to the perpetuating academic inequality. Lastly, self-actualization, which is the pinnacle, shows the ambivalent aspects. So NFE teachers note that children who used to limit their academics within the upper secondary level now have self-direction in regard to pursuing university. Parents also state that children's increased academic motivation by not skipping any classes. Among 24 out of 70 photos was reflection on NFE teachers about whom the children told about their willingness to emulate sense of empathy. Paradoxically, however, children's career perspective was not aligned to their academic motivation as they desired to earn a quick cash, for example, to become a celebrity in an Instagram. The important element of self-actualization is to foster own community's well-being, but the SC note their desire to abandon their slums as the form of self-promotion. There are outstanding uncertainties and anxieties. Organizational concerns referring to the NGO's problems are insufficient funding to operate NFE activities. For example, Center C has been suspended for the last 6 months. A lack of enforcement mechanism towards NFE teachers resulting their irregular participation in teaching. Parents and the children's constituent concerns refer to suspicious impression derived from their disappointing interactions in the past with the outside assistants who failed to keep their commitments, and limited interaction between teachers and parents as the parents' medium of information is only dependent on children themselves at home. So, are current NFE programs a silver bullet? Despite the current tangible and intangible educational support, the current NFE programs are difficult to be considered as a silver bullet. First, fall short of transforming the children's life outcomes. They are not necessarily outperforming their non-slum peers. Two, the top-down NFE agenda hurries the SC to comply with the program agenda for their successful path. Three, NFE teachers silently accept the SC's socioeconomic inequality as irrevocable facets of their life, thereby neglecting to support the SC of building critical curiosity in regard to questioning how to attenuate their institutional and structural barriers of oppression. To address the remaining uncertainties and anxieties, three policy alternatives are suggested, which can be considered by NGOs' plans of actions. First, to cultivate SC with curiosity and a critically inquisitive mindset towards the self-directed goal of overcoming power structure, popular education curriculum needs to be developed. Two, to resolve the parents' limited awareness about their children in NFE programs, a parent NFE teacher association would promote supportive networks where parents and NFE teachers could share information about their children's strengths, weaknesses, and NFE education activities. Three, the current scattered, fragmented manner of NGOs' involvement can be reformed through establishing interconnected network of NGOs. Different NGOs could bring their best expertise, for example, psychological counseling, gender education, and sanitation. By collaborating with the Ministry of Education and Culture and provincial governments, the NGOs can not only lobby for public budget allocation, but also build social linkages with non-SC through public awareness campaigns. Conclusion. NGOs' NFE programs that are adapted to SC's challenges could build a conducive learning environment based on compassionate and supportive networks and fulfill their basic needs to education. But the interventions are only constrained within the slum communities, isolated positivistic setting. So, without ensuring the SC's full social integration beyond the interurban spatial division. Therefore, it is necessary to create innovative pedagogical approaches to nurture SC with critical consciousness about power structure, while all duty bearers must take their mutual responsibility and humanitarian actions to bring welfare for SC and Jakarta City to become an inclusive society. And here are my references. Thank you very much for your listening.